Okay, so we're going to go ahead and record this. Okay, so let me show you then, I'll give you the demo of what the designer like yourself would use on our software. Now, I don't know if you looked into our software at all or not, but it's a cloud-based program, so you can use it on your desktop, laptop, iPad, tablet, smartphone, whatever you want to use it on. It will reform itself and reshape itself depending on the device you're on. You do need Wi-Fi to use it because it is a cloud-based system, but that's becoming less and less really a problem nowadays. And you can so a lot of our customers do this right in front of their homeowner. So they'll go and they'll design a closet, show it to them in 3D. It's all priced out, and you can pretty much take the order on your first visit. So let me show you how this works. So I'm going to log in. You have your customer page. I have a couple customers here. When you add a new customer, you're basically putting in a first name, a last name, and an email address, because we do allow you to email your proposals to your customers. So we'd like to have that email address. And then these two numbers here are really where you're marking up the price for this particular customer. So depending on how your company, if they choose to become a customer, how they want to price things out, there's several levels where the price, so let's say a $10 shelf is what it costs for your company. If they mark up their designers, which would be your account, let's say double, then you would see that shelf as a $20 shelf. And then you turn around and you mark up your customer at double, then they would see it as a $40 shelf. So you see how there's two areas where the beginning price can be marked up, both on the user account, right, on the designer account, and then again on the homeowner account. So you have the option to put these in there if you want. All right, so once you have a customer defined, you can then go ahead and click on that customer. So I have a Mr. Bob Davis here. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new design for him. So I would name this whatever I want to call my closet. Here I have colors in our demo that are set up in two different levels. These category names can be whatever you want. It could be price level 1. It could be, basic, standard, upgraded, whatever you want it to be. Or you can just have no levels and it would just drop all the colors here for you to choose from. And these would be, of course, the colors you sell, right? You get to get those put in there. Here's the rods and finishes that you would support. We carry these, 4 different finishes in the oval and the round. If you have something different than that, we can add that to your system as well. And then you decide if you want to start this as a floor standing system or a wall hung system. Do you do more of one than the other, or?
We do mostly floor.
Okay, so we'll leave it as floor. Any of these decisions on this page can all be changed during the design, but it's just to get us started. So here we have some selections that you can do ahead of time. If your customer knows for a fact they hate that handle and they want to use this handle, you can pick it, select it. It'll just change it right now. Now there's no change in the price because we haven't done anything yet. But if you know they want so this is a raised panel front instead of they want a shaker front instead, or they want a slab front, whatever. But you'll have the same opportunity to change these after your design or during your design, so that you can upsell your customer if you want to.
Okay.
This page is defining the room, so how tall the ceiling is, where your top shelf height is going to be, and what your typical unit depth is going to be. These are all numbers you can pre-configure. And then if you want to put in baseboard notch, we also have shoe a quarter round notch if you want. And then you can choose to pre-fill or not pre-fill your closet. I'll leave it as pre-fill. The nice thing about pre-fill is it will put in your connector shelves or your filler shelves in the corners if you use those. So I'll leave it as pre-fill.
Okay.
Here's where you draw the closet. We want to have the door at the bottom, so you kind of click to start the wall, and then you just step your way over, and you click again to drop a corner. And you just go like this. And you can see as I go, if I stay at a 90-degree angle, that little line is capped off. If I go off the 90-degree, the line is not capped off, as you see. So you kind of know that you're staying. So if you accidentally make a mistake, and you come down and you're drawing it like this, and you're like, oh wait, that's not right. You can come up here, and when you click undo, it takes the last corner off. So you can just work your way back to where you want to go. So the only thing here, you just want to make sure you get all your walls on. So if you want to do something like a slanted wall, you would just do it this way. You can click, come back up. It really, whatever you need to do, you can do. And you just want to get all the walls. Just want to get all the walls on there. I'm just going to do something more basic, just a 5-wall. I don't really care about the numbers of how long these walls are, because when I'm done, I have access to all those numbers here. So if I go ahead and let's put in some standard numbers, make this a real standard closet. So as a update, now I have 50, 90, 180, 90, 50. So now that my closet is, all the measurements are in, now it's going to ask me to pick how I want to lay my units out, especially because it's a prefill. So if I click the use all wall 3, it's going to go corner to corner with 14-inch deep shading, basically. And then if I want to do the sides, I would click fill, and what I'm doing is I'm filling in the remaining space. So you see this 90 has changed to 63 because we have a 14-inch reserve area, and we have a 13-inch filler shelf defined in the demo. You might use bigger filler shelves or smaller filler shelves, depending on how close you want to get to that unit. So basically, that 27 inches is telling you have 63 to design with.
Okay.
Right? Which is helpful. Like if I fill this one down here, it's showing only 23 inches. You might go like, well, that's not very useful. So you might go all then on the front wall, which is pushing then this unit up and around, as you see. So now this unit becomes 36. Okay. Right? It's not so much a unit as much as the space you can design in. And if you just keep playing with these numbers, you can keep, you just keep clicking boxes, you can get it to show whatever combination you want. So let's do it this way, where we're going to use the left wall, the right wall. And so the back wall, we're going to have 126 inches of usable space because we have 27 here is 54, 180 minus 54 is 126. If you want to add an island, it's pretty easy. You just do a single-sided add island, it drops it on the screen. This is the height, or I'm sorry, the width, the height, and the depth, which you can change. What direction, if you want to turn it sideways, you just put in 90, it's going to flip it 90 degrees. This 24 is what this dashed line is. So this is 24 inches all the way around. So you can click on the island and kind of move it if you want to be like 24 inches from each unit there. You can just drop it there. You can add another one. You can add as many as you want. You can add a double. So doubles are front and back. So if you look at that, they just get strung down here. So the third one is the double one. So we have an extra box there for the back depth. So your front depth and back depth. Okay. Okay. I'm going to take those out so we keep this on the simple side. So I'm going to continue. So what it's going to do now is it's going to start up my closet. It's numbered the walls that I'm going to use, so wall 2, 3, and 4. And what it's going to do is give me a pre-filled closet. So what we're looking at here is we have the overhead view, which if I click on that, you get a bigger view with some numbers in it on what size these units are. Then I have wall 2, which is this left wall here, has 3, a double hang, a 7 shelf, and a long hang, which are kind of default units that you can tell us what you want to do, but basically it's just pre-filling. You can see it's using the same units over and over again. It's just kind of filling in the units. It is showing you the price, so we're at $1,600 right now for this closet. On the right-hand side of this page, you have the ability to change your color. So if your customer says, wow, $1,600, that's already too much money, you can go, well, let's try it in white. So you click white, and this is all going to change to white. And the price will go down to probably like $1,200 or, yeah, so $1,200. So now you're in white. I'm going to put it back to a dark color because it's probably easier for you to see. So down here also we have, you can change your hardware and finish. You can, this is a nice tool here where right now we're on a floor design, but you could just as easily flip it to a wall by clicking the wall button, and it will convert all the units from the floor to the wall. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to play with the vertical panels with our tool. Like we figure out what vertical panel fits best between all these units. So it's a nice way to save you some time. Do you have radius panels, which is the bottom? Are they radiused or are they straight?
Typically straight.
Okay, so I'm just going to put it on straight because these are currently radius. So we'll just, by making them straight, it just squares off the bottoms of those. Anytime you're doing this design with your customer, if you click the view in 3D, you get the view in 3D. And you have a little legend up here on the top to use your keyboard. So what I can do is I can walk forward and see the closet. I can use Z and X to move up and down. I can sidestep if I want left or right, or I can back up. Or if you just hold down your left mouse, you can just turn your head and look all around. So from there, you have the ability to turn some walls off if you want and to put clothes on this. So if I do this, it's just going to populate with clothes. You also have the ability to play around with the flooring. If the flooring is a little bit darker, you can pick a different floor color. You have carpeting, which you can pick a different carpet color. You can change the wall colors as well. So we have some standard gray, white, or tan. But if you go to this side, this slide out here, you can actually go even further with the walls. So with the walls, you can do any color at all. So if it's like a light blue, you can just do a light blue. And you can flip the grain on the floor if you want to make it, match your customer as closely as possible. So you have a lot of possibilities on how you want to present this in 3D. So as I go back to my design, some of the other things you can do here on the right-hand side is you can put crown or base molding. So if you wanted to add crown molding, you would just click the crown button. It would go ahead and put crown molding around the room. And the price has changed to $1,500. And that crown molding will show in the 3D. So if you go back to the 3D view, you're going to see the crown molding throughout the room there. So that's kind of nice. And then base molding, you can do add backing if you want to all the units. You just hit add backing, and it will put backing panels on all the units. You can also do multicolor. We have 9 areas that you can change the color. So if you wanted to, put a different color drawer fronts or a different color edge banding or different color countertops or any of that kind of stuff, you would just pick the category you want, like the drawer color, change the color here, and it will change it in your design. And so we'll then be ordering this color drawer fronts and the dark color for the material.
Is it possible to customize that? Like, let's say they want, I don't know, a certain colored door front in one area and a different color in another area.
We go down, we get as granular as by wall. So you can change it on a wall. So if you want to go in, when you're inside a wall, you can go ahead and change that, and it will just affect that one wall. So we could make this wall white, and these would stay brown. And it helps, like if you have an island, you can go into the island and change just the island color. So then, you might have a white closet with a gray island or something like that. You can certainly do that. Okay.
Okay.
So now so this is kind of what we call the view all walls because you have the page because you see everything. But if you want to get into some more detail, of course, you click through and now you can access these units. So this is the left wall. So we have a double hang, a 7 shelf, and a long hang. And if you roll over these numbers, you'll see a description, how wide, how deep, how tall, and what kind of unit it is. You can move it right. You can delete it from here. You can edit it or swap it. So I just look at each of these units. So let's say I want to edit this one here. I can open up the edit. Again, I can go left or right with it, which just moves it around, or delete it. I can change its width. So let's say I want to make this 24. I can change its depth. Right now it's maxing at 16 because it's a wall hung unit. So our default is saying, if it's hanging on the wall, you can only go 16 deep. If it's on the floor, we'll let you go to 24 deep. And that's a setting that you give us. I could put backing on this if I want, just for this one unit. I can change its height. These are all 32 millimeter heights that you would be able to pick from. And I can even put it on the floor if I want. So why don't I do that? I'll change its width, depth, and put it on the floor. So you'll see what happens here is it's become 24 inches by 16 deep. And it's now sitting on the floor with a toe kick. So by doing that 24 inches, what's happened is I have freed up 4.875 inches on the right-hand side. The way our system works is as you remove items or you shrink them down, everything slides to the left. So if I go in here and I edit this and make it, let's say 18, you'll see that everything is just going to slide to the left and get further over to the left. And now this space has gotten bigger. As you leave open space, your links are going to turn red because this wall is considered incomplete. What you probably want to do here is you'd like to center this unit and have these both be the same size. So you have a 18-inch unit, you have a 29-inch unit, you have 15 and 3/4. You could do the math if you want, or on this design page, we have a lot of tools in the left-hand side. One of the coolest ones is our Equalizer tool. So you take those three areas, this one, and this one, and you say go, and what it's going to do is add up the distance and split the difference. So 31.375 and 31.375. which of course centers this unit in the middle of the wall.
So quick question.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that we always accommodate for, like on that left wall there, we would accommodate for, you know, irregularities in the wall. So we always leave a 3/4 inch spacer there to put a trim piece.
Mm-hmm.
So really, we would reduce that overall measurement by 3/4 inches to allow for that. So is that something that can be programmed in whenever it bumps up next to a wall? We can allow for that?
Yeah, you can see here that the length of this wall is 90 inches less 1/4 inch. So we're actually currently designing to 89 3/4. If you would rather that to be 89 1/4, then you would just set that in your settings to take 3/4 of an inch off every wall. Now you can, if you want, I mean, we do have filler pieces as well. So you can show it as a filler piece. So you would just, you know, take 3 inches off of this, which is to say it's 28. And then you would add, so that's going to shrink that piece down. And then here I would add it as left filler, and it's going to pop a filler piece on the left-hand side.
Okay. And so all of these options are things that we would set up in our settings. Everything's fully customizable to how we build it. Okay.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So you determine, you can determine what type of components you want. You can edit this component library to add your own kind of units, which I'll show you in a second. So let me show you how you would swap out. Let's say you want to add drawers to this wall. What you would do is you go and you can swap. And so this is the component library. So this is our hang bars, drawers, shelves, footwear, baskets, right? So you have a whole selection of things. So you would have, so let's say we take a basic 4-drawer unit and we drop it where that unit was. So now we have the 4 drawers, a 10 and 3 7s. You can modify that even further by customizing it. And if you customize it, now you'll get access to all the parts. And on the right side are all the parts in the system. So you can see here we have all these drawers turned on. So if I would rather have 3 10-inch drawers, I can just click on this drawer here and drag it out and let go. Drag it out and drag it out. And then I would come here and drag it in. And as you get close to it, it's going to click. You can't drop it on top of something. So if I drop it on this fixed shelf, it won't go in. But if you get it into the gray area, it'll go in and click to something that's close to it. And so now I have a 3 10-inch drawer unit. On top of that, I can put doors. These are double doors. This is left hinge, right hinge, top hinge, bottom hinge. If I drag a door in there and I snap that, it's going to snap between 2 fixed shelves. All right, so in our shelving, the plain shelf looks like that. The fixed shelf has a little line in it. This is a sliding shelf, and this is a shoe shelf. I showed you the doors, the drawers. These are scoop boxes without fronts. These are baskets or tilt-down hamper. Rods. We have 8 HEFLA items, so jewelry tray, the shoe rack, the hamper, the pants rack that can drag in and show in 3D. Cubbies, you tell us how many rows and columns, and it will form a cubby system between two fixed shelves. Tray dividers, and then miscellaneous is just your toe kicks. Okay, so we have that. So from here, I can either submit that, which is fine. If I submit it, it's going to go back into the design, and it's going to show the door. And I can edit that even a little bit further. And if this were a slab door, there is no inside to it. If it's a raised panel, it has a raised panel inside, or I can make a clear glass mirror or frosted. And those inserts you guys can define. So if I make a clear glass, it's just going to show it in our design as kind of a see-through. And if I look at that in single, you'll see how you can kind of see through that. So if that's a unit you use a lot of, you can save it. So if I go ahead and save it from here, what it's going to do is create a little picture of it. And then just, it becomes you name it whatever you want to name it. Short description and a long description. And then it's going to go into your custom folder or your custom catalog. So now if I go over to wall 4, and I want to put that same unit in the middle on wall 4, I can come here, I can swap. And if I look in drawers, it's not going to be in here, but if I go to custom, it will be listed in here. So if I just look down my custom demo unit and custom, obviously I've been doing quite a few of these demos. Let's see, well, it's in here. No, Well, let's just take this one. It's basically the same thing. So we pull that in. It's going to go ahead and drop that saved unit, the demo unit, right into there.
So those demo units, are those saved kind of in a common folder for all of the designers, or is it saved just specifically per
It's
account?
saved per account, but you can move them. The administrator can go in there and move something from somebody's personal folder to the general folder. So you can, if you have something that you did that other people would like to use, you can move it into the main folder and it will become part of your regular catalog.
Okay.
Okay. So other things you can do, you can add obstruction. So if you have, you know, a vent or an outlet or some switches or whatever. So if you, let's say you want to put a vent in there, all the obstructions basically just get dropped to the left side of the wall, and then you change them. You change the size of them here. So I just make some adjustments and it's reshaped it, and now it's, oh, I put it behind the, sorry about that. I put it too far over. Put it behind the drawers. So there you can see a little bit of it there. Okay. There's a material section where you can just put pieces of material or doors, so that you could, like, if you wanted to put a finished panel at the end of a run, you could put in a finished door panel at the end of a run by placing it yourself. From this side, there's other things you can do. So let's say, I don't know if you do a lot of slanted ceilings in Arizona. Do you have a lot of, you know, rooms that kind of the walls go down? So we can do that here. So here, if I'm looking at this back wall, we have this 180 inches long. It's 96 inches at each side. If I change this, let's say to 74, and say go, it's going to redraw that wall and drop it down to 74. Now, of course, this unit, and probably this unit are too high because they're hitting the ceiling, so they'd have to be adjusted. But we can do that for you. You tell us how far from the ceiling you want to be, and you pick which units you want to adjust, and it's going to step them down along the height of the ceiling. So that you avoid any conflict with the ceiling. So you can also, if you have a ceiling that is a little more complicated, you can add a so let's say it's a peak ceiling. So we can go at about 90. We can say it's 96 at 90, but it's back to 74 in the beginning. And so now you have 74, 96, 74. So it's going to kind of do a peak roof like that. Mm-hmm. And again, you can just go ahead and adjust it, and everything will just kind of flap its way. And if you make a mistake, you just delete that out, and it will just take that point out. And now it's just going to be 74 all the way across, which is not what we really want. So I'll just put that back to 96. And then we do have, so now these are all kind of jacked up, but I do have a bulk edit tool right here. So I can say, you know, make every unit on this wall 24, make them all 84 high, and make them all 14 deep. And then I'm going to select every single unit. And what it's going to do is it's going to change them all to match those criteria. So you can do kind of a quick normalization, if you will, of all your units. So they're all going to be 24 wide. They're all going to be 84 tall. And of course, that leaves some extra space here that we could either add another unit, or we could stretch other units out, or whatever we wanted to do. So once you have your closet kind of, let me show you something else. Let me show you the how you add notes. So if I have this wall here and I want to go ahead and put some notes on it, you get a picture of the closet wall. You can either pick a saved note. So if I have, you know, that this is for dresses, I'm going to add this label. I'm going to recolor this and change its font and size, and just say, okay, put this there. That's going to be dresses. So those are pretty simple labels. Annotations are pretty cool. Like, annotations are bigger boxes of information. So if it's a tilt-out hamper, you can, and in here you can add links or images or videos or whatever you want. So you can put a whole bunch of information in this, and then you would just drag this A to wherever your hamper is. So let's say the hamper was there. So if I save that on that wall, when your customer gets the proposal emailed to them and they go up online to look at it, what they're going to be able to see, it doesn't affect your drawing screen, but what they will see when they print that wall out is they will see the overhead, and then they will see the label addresses, and this annotation becomes interactive.
Okay, very cool.
All right, so that's kind of a neat little thing there. On top of that, we do tech drawings for like your installers. So if I go, let me go back to all walls, and I'm going to click the tech drawings. The tech drawings give you, again, an overhead view, and then they give you each wall drawn more in a stick drawing with elevations. You can add or subtract elevations from the right-hand side. And when all the walls load, which these 3 walls have, I can then go up here and say export to PDF. And what it's going to do is create a PDF document that you can send with your job with the installers. And the nice thing about it is, you can open it into your own PDF program and write whatever notes you want on this. So this is going to show your logo here and the customer's information and what wall we're looking at. And then it's just going to be a wall per page.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's get to the really cool stuff. So when you're in the 3D tool, so you can save views if you want. And what that does is kind of helps your customer navigate. So if you want to just save this view right here for them, you can just go to the right-hand side and say, okay, let's save this as view 1. Or better yet, let's say outside closet. And you save that view. Once you start saving views, these buttons pop up. All right, so now I have outside view. Now I'm going to turn wall 1 and wall 5 off, and I'm going to put close on, and I'm going to refresh that view, and I'm going to save this as view 2. So as I save this as view 2, now when I look at my views, if I edit my views, I'll see I have 2 views. I have the outside of the closet and view 2. They will show up on this list in this order. When your customer is there, they can click on the view, load it, it will load the view, and then they can move around. So it just helps you kind of lay out, kind of step them through how you want them to see your closet. So you click your view, you load it, and it's going to load the view. You can export those views once you create them, and they will also create a PDF file. And again, it looks similar to the other one where you have your logo here, and then you have your 2 views. All right. Now, if you're more advanced and a lot of your customers are online, which we hope everybody is, this little camera here is our rendering software. So you get 2 types of renders: a snapshot, which would take a picture of this wall right here, or a 360, which would give you a 360 interactive. You click which one you want, whether you want draft or high res. You put in the name, and then you submit the render. And the render then, when you submit it, it doesn't render on your computer, it renders on our computer. We send it off to our own render server, and when it's done, you get an email that says your render's ready. So I'm just going to go back to a room that I have already done renders for and show you what they look like. So in this closet, I have a 5-wall closet, a window, a door, some mirrored units, things like that. If I go here, I have 2 views saved for this, and so the first view is just the outside of the closet, so that's the first thing that's going to show. And then the second view is kind of a picture of the back wall, where I remove the front and the 5th. So this is my first view, kind of plain. My second view is the back wall. If I load that, it puts the back wall up there with close, right? But I've rendered this image already, so if I go and I view the renders, that's what that render looks like.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
And I did other renders. I did a render looking at the left wall, and this is what that looks like. And then I did a render looking at the right wall, and you can see the mirrors are reflecting. And then the 360 render, I stood right about here, right in front of this drawer unit, and I did the 360 render, which takes a few seconds to load. And this render then allows you to turn your head. So basically, it plops you in the middle of it plops you wherever you were standing when you requested the render. So this is I'm standing there looking at the thing, but now I can turn my screen. And I can do a full 360 turn and see the entire closet. Up, down, whatever you want to do. So these renders would be attached to a proposal. So if I go back to my page, I think I've already sent this proposal. Yeah, I have a version of this closet render already set as a proposal for this customer, but let me show you how proposals work. So if I click this button, this is the closet we were working on, right? And I want to create a proposal for my customer. It comes up with your logo, the customer's information, your information, and it lists all the rooms you want to put on the proposal here. You have the ability to add 8 lines of either discounts or additions. Maybe you want to do painting for, you know, a dollar amount of $500, installation, delivery, whatever you need to do. If you do a percentage, you want to put in the percentage here, and we calculate it for you. If you put in a dollar amount, just put the dollar amount in, and all that will be calculated out. At the bottom, you put in your expiration date, which defaults to 30 days, and then your link expiration date is pretty cool because that turns the link off. So I typically recommend 2 or 3 days. Give your customer 2 or 3 days to look at this design online. After that, they have to call you back for that link to be turned back on. This kind of protects your designs a little bit so they're not just shopping them out to your competition.
Mm-hmm.
So here you decide if you want to do render views. You would select yes or no to show the render button, and you go ahead and create that proposal. Once you create the proposal, here it is. It comes down here. Now from here, it has left the design screen. You can't really edit this anymore unless if you release it. If you completely made a mistake, you would release it. It would delete that proposal and put the design back up top. But let's say you sent this to your customer and they said, hey, you know, that was a great, you know, design, but can I see it in white? What you can do is you can clone the closet that's in that proposal, rename it. That leaves this proposal alone, puts the closet back up in here. You can then open it, and you can literally do this from your phone, because it really is not that hard to log in and do this kind of change. And then you would just go here, you change it to white, and it's just going to reprice it and rechange it. You come back to your thing, you click this button to create a new proposal. You check this box that says use the same proposals I used last time, the settings, so all these numbers come back. And then you're done, and you ask your customer to refresh their screen, and they're going to have 2 proposals now, one in the dark color and one in the white color. So it's very easy for you to do changes and get your customer to agree more quickly. This link here, when you click email, this is the link for this customer that gets sent directly to them. When they click on that link, they don't have to log in. It goes right to their page. Your logo, their name, your information, and all the proposals that are valid. You can see this one here has expired, so it tells you contact your designer for assistance. But these other 2 are there, so they can click on the one that was the dark one, and they have the 2D option, which we looked at before, which is going to show each wall with the rollover annotation. They're going to see the 3D view, so this is now your customer at home without you there. They're able to do a lot of this walkthrough as well. So they can do all those kinds of things that we were doing before. They can turn walls on and off, and you can see now they have views here, so they can click to a second view. So you can help walk them around a closet, if you will. And then view options and accessories is a picture of everything that was put in this closet. So there's really no mistake as to what handle is going to be included because it's right there. And this is the rod you chose, and this is the shelving color. And all your decisions are here in a picture form, so your customer's pretty clear as to what they're going to see or not see. Now, when I go back to, let me just update my render here so I can show you what the 3D renders look like. If I go to this, I just want to update this to a more current date. So let's just put that down here and update that. All right, so if I go back to that customer, I want to show you how the renders look to them. So he logs in, he clicks on Closet Render, and he gets the 2D, 3D, and the render views. So he can then click on render views, and it goes right to the render pages. So this is your customer at home again, looking on his computer. He's able to click through the renders and see what the renders look like. And the cool thing about this 4th render is if you do this on your phone or on an iPad or anything like that, instead of clicking your mouse and moving it, you literally just turn your phone. Like you could stand in the middle of the closet, give your customer your iPad, and have them rotate. And as the iPad rotates itself, it moves the view so they could start turning and literally see their closet from within their closet, if you know what I mean. Like they can kind of stand there and just pivot and turn around and get a real good sense as to what this closet's going to look like.